Welcome, folks. uh, Today we're going to do quite a little bit different. Um, as you can tell, I'm not in the normal studio. Let me just bring up chat over here. Quad Bennett, how's it going? Beery, welcome. Howdy, indeed. I hope everyone's doing okay. Trying to see if I can get that RTPT talks to raid you today. Appreciate that, but it's okay. I mean, if they want to. Moanep, welcome. Hey, I see some of the YouTube crew popping in. Folks, if you're on the YouTube, do the thing. Okay, like the stream. Subscribe if you haven't done so. I mod for him. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Appreciate that. Today's stream is going to be a little bit different, so bear with me, folks. It's not going to be the usual normal stream that you guys are used to. Okay, everything's good. Michael Hasser, welcome. However, there is still quite a few things to talk about. But before we do so, first and foremost, thank you guys for being here. If you guys want to support the channel, there are many different ways. Keep doing what you're doing. Like the stream. Spread the word. We're here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time during the normal show. During the normal show, we are here Monday through Thursday. This week is going to be a little bit complicated. We may be able to do one more stream tomorrow, but we're going to have to see. It may end up being a small stream. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but if it does, then we'll be able to work with it. That being said, yes, normally we are here Monday through Thursday around 5 p.m. Eastern time. So, spread the word, bring a friend. Next week, we will be back to the normal studio, and we will be back to the normal, normal setup, normal programming. Today, we're just going to take it a little bit slower, and it's going to actually be more involved with just kind of responding to you guys. That being said, as I was saying, thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you guys for being here. If you want to keep supporting the channel, keep doing the stuff that you're doing, keep liking the stream, keep subscribing on YouTube. Okay, I can't see 100% of what happens on the YouTube right now because I'm not in the studio, but definitely keep subscribing, keep liking. If you're on Twitch, keep following. It really does help us out. If you want to support the channel directly, there are a couple of ways of doing so. Keep subscribing to the Substack, and consider checking out the merch store. Actually, a couple of days ago, I saw that someone decided to order a T-shirt, so I appreciate it. Appreciate the support, and you can also hit !tip if you want to support the channel directly. Thank you again. I appreciate you guys being here. We definitely are going to have to talk about a couple of different things because there's just so much stuff that's happening rather quickly, and I think that's probably the disturbing part about it. Not surprising, it's not like we don't know who this guy is. It's not like we don't know what this administration's about. But I think it's still pretty shocking at the speed at which the speed of this is happening. And I think it's worth reiterating because each time something like this happens, it's pretty quick. The fascism train is moving incredibly quick. We are no longer talking about just your run-of-the-mill fascism. I think this is something new entirely, something that we really haven't seen, but definitely fascist in nature. I mean, because like I was watching an interview, and I think it was a professor, if I remember correctly, and they pointed out something I would say interesting that I haven't really paid attention to, and that's the dynamic that there's actually normally under an authoritarian setup you would have like one strongman, but here it seems like we don't really have a definite strongman. It's more like strong men, right? Or maybe if you want to, I guess, I don't know. It's just interesting that we have a dynamic being played out here where there's actually two strong men, not one necessarily, but I don't know. That's unique. Yeah, Spin Red fascism, new and improved. Yeah, we're still going to keep the nationalistic kind of and the nationalistic racist aspects of the classic fascism. Of course, we have to keep that. That's a classic. Strongmen with the tiniest of egos. That's also like what's bizarre about this, right? Like uh uh how is this playing out when we have like a supposed strongman? We have two strong men. We have Elon Musk and we have Trump. So on that note, as we wait for some people to pile in, um, as by this time, you folks probably already know, Chuck Schumer has capitulated, has capitulated to the Republicans right before the shutdown was scheduled to happen. Schumer defended supporting the spending bill and is now facing backlash from even his own party. But nonetheless, he facilitated. He is complicit with all of that's happening. I mean, when you've lost Nancy Pelosi, I don't know what to tell you, folks. Popcorn, waiting for the fallout. I'm not personally. I'm not interested in in playing an IRL playthrough of Fallout. Okay. Um. Yeah, the billionaire class wins again. Thanks, Dems. RTPT Talks. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate that. Everyone come in for RTP streaming on vacation instead of studio. He's amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Monstrous, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Folks, if you haven't already done so, please consider checking out RTPT Talks. Thank you, and thank you for bringing your wonderful community over here. It is true that this is not the normal stream setup, but it's okay. You know, it's just going to be us today. Okay, chat. It's just going to be us. We don't have the fancy screen with all the news and the YouTube videos and the reaction to what's happening live. So yeah, thank you for all the new follows. Look at that. Thank you so much. We have Monstrous Gibson Girl. Nice, like Gibson guitars. Crystal Catchin. Just Monida. Cowden Storm. Kimmy the Dog Mom. Appreciate it. Happy to be here as usual. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having us. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you for being here. Once again, please go check out our TPT Talks. Appreciate that. Daedalus, thank you so much for the follow. Dr. Slow, Z. Appreciate that. You need to rock out and show us your headbanging skills. I do, right? Not quite like the guitars, however, my husband's name is Paul Gibson. Really? That's interesting. That's too much of a coincidence. I wonder if his parents enjoyed the Gibson guitars, because I mean the Les Paul is like the classic Gibson. Also, he has a kitty, likely at home though. Yes, I do. In fact, if you follow the channel, and he plays guitar, okay, that's too much coincidences. Way too much coincidence. If you follow, you actually get a couple of free emotes, and I believe if you type in Bakita, the name of the cat, you will get a peek of the kitty cat. The letter hack. Hey, welcome. His mom was a literal Gibson girl model. Oh, okay. This makes so much sense. That's freaking awesome. My best friend works at PRS. PRS Guitars? Nice. PRS guitars are pretty decent. I've played a decent amount of them. Monsters with the 100 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Okay, folks. Well, we'll I guess we'll take care of at least one topic right now, and then we'll hang out with chat. Then we'll do another topic. Then we will do a story, I guess, and then we'll hang out with chat, and then probably do another story. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, he works on the line building them. That's freaking awesome. That's awesome. Jay Everest. I mean, Jay Everest. You've been here for quite a while. A Difficult Truth started as a band. I don't know if if you have heard the origin story, the oranges of A Difficult Truth, but yeah, it was a band first before it ever became anything remotely close to what it is now. I mean, it's still a band. It's still a music project. It exists. But the actual oranges of A Difficult Truth is a band. It's A Difficult Truth is the name of a song actually from the founder of A Difficult Truth, who also incidentally used to be a co-host as well. We're thinking about seeing what we can do to facilitate that again. It's just been so difficult. The time schedule, it's been, yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough for her too. But she originally came up with A Difficult Truth because it was a song from another, project that she had. Bonzilla, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Gigantify, an emote, thank you. Would you mind putting the Discord link in chat? I got you. Welcome, Narwhal. Now, how can I... Oh, here it is. It should be like this. There you go. And everybody should be able to see that. By the way, also, thank you for reminding me. Thank you. So first, so a couple of... we got 2 shout-outs right now. Thank you for the raid. And... where is this thing? Thank you for the raid, RTPT Talks, and make sure you go check out the letter hack as well. Thank you for the follow, KTWBC. For a little mobile stream, honestly, this looks pretty decent. Of course, you're not going to get like the full super special awesome camera. Okay, we're literally like on the phone. But other than that, this actually turned out to be pretty freaking decent. I'm actually very happy with how this came out. Okay, folks. So a couple of stories that we have to get through. So I'll just start with one. As you probably guys know, as you probably already know, the Senate Democrats capitulated. Chuck Schumer capitulated, and now he's going on some book tour. Okay, so apparently Chuck Schumer couldn't be bothered to grow a spine, and he capitulated to Republicans who passed this disastrous spending plan, uh, basically giving away the keys. I mean, like when you lose Nancy Pelosi, man, look, even Hakeem Jeffries, okay, even Hakeem Jeffries was against this, and that tells you all you need to know, really. Looks good to me. Thank you. Yeah, it's so frustrating indeed. Oh, he canceled that tour. He got cold feet. Cold feet Chuck. Oh man, cold feet Chuck ended up canceling the tour. Yeah, that sounds about right. Wow. Susie Citizen, welcome. He canceled that tour probably because he kept getting protested. Probably because he kept getting protested. He's doing exactly what the Republicans are doing, which is just canceling the freaking town halls. He needs to step aside. He really does. Like that's enough, man. When you've lost Nancy Pelosi and like when Hakeem Jeffries does more than you do to stop the Republicans, like dude, seriously, security concerns. Yeah, okay, security reasons. Yeah, okay. Elvis is cat. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, security reasons, i.e., I'm being protested. I'm being accosted by my own constituents who are mad that I capitulated to the fascists. Okay, sure. Security reasons. This is so embarrassing. I would have thrown a shoe. And disastrous as that is, by the way, disastrous as that spending bill is, that's not even like the worst thing that's happened this weekend. Okay, two shoes. Give him the the GW treatment. That's not even the worst thing that's happened in the last like 48 hours as far as I can try to keep up with the cycle. As far as news goes. So apparently, in my estimation, I think we've well, let's actually cover this because I think this is kind of prescient. Um, 1 second, let me open it up here because my there we go. Actually, I kind of like that one better. Okay. So a couple of things that well, one thing to just piggyback off this disaster with Chuck Schumer. Apparently, approval for Democrats has reached a pretty low point at this point, and Trump's approval rating. Am I frozen? No, I'm right here. Unless it's not. Unless if I get out of this window, it kind of freezes everything. I'm not sure, but if it freezes, then that's okay. Actually, I've got an idea. It's good for me. Okay. I think the video's frozen, but the sound still works. Oh, okay. All right. Well, if the video freezes for a second, that's okay because I may need to reference. I may need to reference a different tab. There we go. It's now working. Okay. It might freeze for a second, but that's okay. So President Trump has enjoyed some of his highest approval ratings in the early days of his second term, though the specifics on his aggressive policies have begun to irk Americans in the recent polling. So that's not that's not really good. Voters disapprove of Trump's economic policies, which is actually big for a Republican, since supposedly they enjoy some kind of benefit of the doubt when it comes to the economy, even though even though generally speaking that's not the case. It's working now. Okay. So yeah, just some interesting so low for Dems and Republicans. Yeah, but like that benefits Republicans though. And in some in as far as like approval rating, he's still pretty decent despite all the stuff that's happening. He still sits at a decent number, even though his approval rating is pretty low, like it's low, he's still sitting at a pretty decent number despite everything that's happening. The notable problem there is that the Democrats are also tanking. That's not good. Okay, that's not good. Um, it means that people don't. It means that people aren't being listened to. That's what it indicates to me. I wonder if his approval would be different if they put Elon's name in question. Maybe, maybe. Elon's approval rating is not very high. In fact, I think like Elon's approval rating at its highest was like 30 something. Elon's approval rating was like 30, 36, I think. Hey, yo, did the wind get your beanie? It did. It did. It flew away. Welcome, Cognizant. It flew away, or it was okay. It wasn't allowed to cross state lines. Okay, that's what happened. The beanie was not allowed to cross state lines. All right, folks, let's talk about the next story we have. Uh, More or less queued up here. Apparently, a doctor was deported back to Lebanon over this weekend, in complete defiance of a federal judge's order. This doctor was approved to be here. Okay, she was coming here completely legal. Everything was fine. All the paperwork was in order. And she was deported in violation of a federal judge. Like, this is serious stuff, folks. Like, we're not even talking about a potential we're not even talking about a potential constitutional crisis or anything like that. Like, we're just talking about a executive branch that has gone completely out of control, and it is not being reined in by Congress. Congress is not doing its job. It's ignoring the judiciary. Okay, these are federal judges. I mean, this is authoritarianism. No, so if there's no checks here on a executive who has gone rogue, then for all intents and purposes, this is authoritarianism. The executive branch ignoring the judiciary is literally the definition of a constitutional crisis. Yep. Correct. Welcome, the anti-corporatist. I wish I could get deported to Canada. It takes forever to get Canadian citizenship. The Trump administration's motto, F the judges and Congress will do what their donors pay them to do, right? Which incidentally is also what aligns with the oligarch class, who's also in control of the executive, right? I mean, that really begs the question, right? So who's gonna freaking stop this, right? Who is going to stop this? If there's no congressional oversight, right? If there's no judiciary, because for all intents and purposes, if you can just defy a court order, right? Like, if you can just defy a judge's order, a federal judge's order, and you can just wipe your behind with it, what exactly is left? I'm also making plans to leave the country just in case this is getting crazy when even the judges are being ignored. Yeah. I don't blame you. This is very, very unstable. These are very, 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 very unsettling times. If you ever wondered what the 1920s were like, we're here. If you ever, not, I don't know, maybe a cynical thought experiment, but if you ever wondered what it would be like to be under a fascist authoritarian regime, this is what it looks like. No one people will just start dying in greater numbers, and corporate media will ignore it because they need their White House access. There's no rule of law now, only rule of Trump. Yeah, I mean, essentially, right? Because this is it. If you can't be stopped by a judge, if Congress is not putting the executive in check, then like this is pretty much it, right? Like, GG everybody. Okay. And by the way, this is happening, okay, to even like European people. There was like a German citizen who was abused in these ICE facilities. Okay. At this point in time, at this point in time, if you are not in the United States, there's no reason to visit here. Okay. I can assure you, it is not worth it. If you're outside of the United States and you're thinking of coming here, don't. It's just a bad idea. And in fact, like all countries should be issuing travel bans or travel warnings. All countries that have embassies should be reaching out to the citizens to make their way home as expeditiously as possible. Okay, because this is not the place to be uh, right now, and it's sad and terrifying. The only option is the military, and I have zero faith. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure if I, I'm not sure. Pete Hegseth doesn't exactly inspire a whole lot of confidence in him doing the right thing. He's in favor of this stuff. Hey man, this ain't the destination. Yeah, for sure. This is definitely not the place to be right now. If you're traveling, if you think you want a vacation here for summer or for spring, just don't. Just don't. Okay. Checking in during my break, I forgot it was the chill stream week. Hey, Echo Resto Dragon, welcome. No problem. I mean, you're here. You're free to just hang out. I hope you're doing all right. Yeah, the option is the people. I mean, like basically, yeah. These people are leaving uh, less and less avenues. Okay, to resolve this. Good for Gabby. Welcome. These people are leaving less and less avenues to resolve this within the confines of the institutions that exist right now. To put it in the most YouTube friendly way possible, these people are leaving basically very little path forward, um, with the exception of a couple, and none of them are good. Right? Like they're basically taking away any institutional way of resolving this, which only leaves the other path. They are trying to burn it down, and they're doing a pretty good job of it. This is actually perfect. Actually, you just reminded me of the story that I have to go over. Like, okay, so not like a news story per se, but kind of like a more closer to home story. So I know someone who is very close to the park service here, and they don't they don't work for the park service. They don't work for the government because they chose to do their graduate program. Right? They had two choices, two career paths. Either you hit the field now, or you take the time, you do your graduate studies because they're still young, right? Like um, this person is much younger than me. Uh, uh, you know, they've got plenty of time, so he opted to choose to do his graduate studies, so he didn't take the job essentially, and thankfully he didn't, because a lot of that department is now being gutted because of all this Doge crap. So speaking of burning it down, like what's happening here in the state that I'm in uh, right now, Florida, with the park service here is sad. Is sad because this is incredibly important work. Okay, the Everglades restoration projects that are happening were happening. Were crucial to protecting biodiversity, and all of that, save like one project, is out the window. And he was telling me that uh, these Doge people were interrogating the people that he knew because he's an affiliate, right? Because he still has access to their data. He needs it for his graduate project, for his graduate school. Um, and he was telling me that these Doge people were interrogating like doctorate degrees people. They were interrogating like PhD people about like what they're doing. Like these young, like not even graduate people were accosting these very senior people who have been here for decades, who have been working the field their entire lives, right? And accosting them and saying like, "Oh, what are you doing? Like, what's this important stuff?" Thank you for the follow, 13 Libertaire 12. Honestly, with them doing things like selling off public lands and whatnot, we're probably going to need another revolution to be able to follow those back, or eminent domain. Is the Earth flat? Choose. I didn't realize you were in Florida. For the week, certain schools are even cutting back on graduate programs. Yep. They definitely don't respect elders. Yeah, and like it's not even. It's like, dude, these people they've dedicated their entire career, right, to doing this very important work. Uh, to doing this very important work to restore uh, uh, one of the most biodiverse places that we have in the country. I mean, the way he was describing it, it was like shit has hit the fan for them. Um, Shit has hit the fan for them, and as far he said that, like, basically, like, think about it like this: research for the entire like aspect as far as like that area for the Everglades It's like research has frozen in time until all this is over. For all intents and purposes, research has basically just been frozen in time, and that's terrifying. Johns Hopkins just had to let go of 2,000 people. Jesus. My ecology heart is breaking right now. Yeah, and those people, man, they've literally like given their hearts and souls for this, right? They really like if you talk to the people on the in the field, right? If you talk to these researchers, to these people who are working on this, like they genuinely want to make a difference. They're there not because it's like some shady bureaucratic position, right? Like, dude, those people don't make that much money. They're there doing important work because they believe in it. Dan and honestly, welcome. The manatees in Florida? Yeah, I know. Like literally he was telling me that sometimes because of like how bad the situation is there, like just kind of um, um sidestepping this whole like fiasco with like Doge just setting everything on fire. But it's already pretty precarious for the manatees that like scientists were literally throwing like pounds and pounds and pounds of lettuce to keep the manatees alive because the seagrass is getting so destroyed. My partner works at a hospital and has been busy uh, cutting staff. Jesus. With us being pretty sure that they're about to stop SSDI, my wife is going back to work, and she had two job offers, one for the college 5 minutes away and one for a major employer about half hour away. They don't put oof. But she took the further one because of the advancement opportunities and also because we're unsure of um, the college funding. Jeez. They don't put much stock in experience. They trust technology too much, and that will be their downfall. Fresh out of the asylum, welcome. That is messed up. That is very messed up. A surly barber, welcome. An AI had to be responsible for the whole Enola Gay renaming thing. Only Marjorie Taylor Greene would be stupid enough to actually think to actually flag the carrier of the Hiroshima bomb. Yep, I 100% I believe that. Yeah, boop the like button. Keep doing it, folks. These douchebag kids. And also, as kind of like a follow up on these personal stories that have been happening, um, I mean, this stuff is directly affecting us here. Uh, as it turns out, and I didn't know this until today. Um, I didn't know this until today, but apparently, the Coast Guard is no longer enforcing the OP90, which is the Oil and Pollution Act of 1990. Um, if you don't know what that is, basically this happened after the Exxon Valdez disaster. This was the legislation that came after that massive disaster, and apparently now the Coast Guard is not enforcing that law. I got a split. Happy St. Patty's, everyone. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, the letter hack. Seriously, some old school hackers, who knows what they're really up, what's really up, or gonna take them down. Mark my words. Good news: the seeds of doubt have finally been planted in my MAGA sister. Any advice? Um, I mean, if they're willing, look, if they're willing to talk, then the best thing you can do is keep watering that seed and make sure that it sprouts. Hey, look, if they're willing to talk, okay, if they're looking for an off ramp out of this cult, and they, especially if they're especially if there's someone close, you maybe have a better position to know how to talk to that person. And if they're looking for an off ramp out of this cult, then like provide it to them. Oh, what plant? What planted the seeds? I'm fascinated. Yeah, it's probably important to know. Maybe it'll work for somebody else. I don't know. I mean, like really, it's dependent on the person, and it's dependent on your relationship to said person, right? Uh, but the insight is definitely useful. Um, so if you're willing to share, she has eyes and ears in our world. The Zelensky disaster had a lot to do with it. So common sense is finally just kind of peeked its head in there. I mean, hey, look, whatever you can take, I would say keep pushing at it. Um, and especially if she's willing to talk, and if she's willing to be more open to perhaps being wrong, um, then that seed might grow. But yeah, if she's open to if she's open and willing to be wrong and willing to rethink that perhaps what she was sold was not exactly what was in the package wasn't exactly what was sold on the outside, then I would keep hammering at that point. Show that person, show her that it's not just with Zelensky, but other things too. Especially with this, I don't know how she feels about immigration, but especially with this stuff. I mean, like these, or maybe if, or maybe if you know someone who's been directly impacted by all of this, perhaps maybe they could share their story. Sometimes that works. Sometimes knowing the person, like if your best friend or something like that got laid off, because of this Doge garbage, um, that's another way you could probably try to talk to someone who's close, who's in the cult, but maybe open to leaving the cult. That's a possibility. Um, I'm sure there are good YouTube video essays that show his duplicitous nature and how far back it goes. Oh, 100%. But like, it may not work if you just show them a YouTube video, and who knows? Like, a lot of people have the especially, a lot of people, unfortunately, as far as like the average American has the attention span of a goldfish. But definitely keep hammering on that point. If the whole like being a complete a-hole to a ally opened eyes, maybe that could be a way of kind of pulling that thread and saying, well, what else, That's good to know because all it really takes is a sliver of doubt. And once you start realizing that someone can lie, you start seeing more of their lies. 100%. You pull on that thread, like, hey, maybe this image of Trump is not what is not what was being advertised. What else is he lying about? What else is he? This guy looks like a bully. What else is he doing? Um, whatever you can pull out, you keep doing it. It's just a matter of seeing how they react. Really, not everything works for everyone. Oh, so where I was going with this? Yes, our beloved stepdad is likely getting his Medicare and VA benefits slashed. That will end up punching sis right in the mouth. She depends on him. There you go. Like that's a literal like one to one. As tragic as that is, that is indisputable, in your face. Look what's happening type deal, right? Like as horrible and disgusting as that is undeniable. Like there's no really looking back, looking away from that, right? Because like there's only one answer here, and that's Trump did this, right? Like Trump and the whole like Doge crap did this, and you need to make sure that she understands that the reason why your stepdad is being screwed over, okay, is because of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, essentially. The reason why your stepdad is losing Medicare and VA benefits, a veteran, is because of Trump and Doge and Elon Musk, who've engineered this crap. And that needs to be stressed because, as disgusting as that is irrefutable. Like you can't look away from that. That is a one-to-one connection. So, with the Coast Guard no longer um, enforcing the Ocean and Pollution Act of 1990, that essentially has made the industry where Mrs. Truth works in very, very unstable. Because why would companies use oil spill response, marine salvage, if there's no regulations being enforced, right? And you can just drop that coverage because what's the point? They're not going to enforce that regulation. So, like, they had a meeting today, apparently. And again, this is news to me, and they confirmed that the Coast Guard is no longer going to be enforcing that. So even Mrs. Truth's um, job is uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen. Um, but it's not good. And on top of that, we have student loans. I got to go, but I just subscribe until next time, good sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Gary Bennett, welcome. Protest at the Heritage Foundation. We're gonna need a lot more. Let me tell you. Kirkenstein's mother, welcome. Hey, hey. So yeah, we're dealing with this personally. Um, we're dealing with this personally, dealing with the potential upending of potential upending of Mrs. Truth's job with the whole thing with the student loan stuff. I mean, like we could be seeing uh payments go up 3 times. Like basically, like um, it is possible that we'll end up with like essentially a second mortgage. Autumn leaves. Hey, welcome. Soul Life isn't here. Oh, they stop by from time to time. I don't know if they're here now. Bad Lefty, welcome. Oh, there he is. Brandy Nuance, welcome. Heat, how's it going? Welcome. Sorry, me too. Me too. Hey, Autumn Leaves, aren't you a moderator? Aren't you a moderator for someone? Violet Quinlaw, welcome. Got it up the subscribers, also merch sales. Winnie Rose, welcome. It's an unofficial surfs raid. Oh, hey, well, welcome. Yeah, I mod for Sam Cedar. Me too. Me too. That's where I've seen you. You're a YouTube moderator. I mod for several shows, but I'm proudest for modding for Sam Cedar. Some Sam loser, you wouldn't know him. Yeah, some boomer. I came from the surfs too. Welcome, Sisfian Task. Sam is the king of progressives right now. It's not my fault, Looney said too, and I'm impressionable. I'm drinking. Does that count? Yeah. So from one mod to another, okay? Even if we mod in different universes, okay? From one mod to another, howdy. Automods with me on Medi Hatsan. Oh, that's awesome. With Francesca. Nice. Looney Tunes, welcome. Your favorite surfs mod is here. Welcome, welcome. To be fair, it's racist to not drink today. You weren't there the last few times, but I held it down. Sometimes I wish we could put all the lefties, like peeps in Leftist Mafia, Majority Report, Hassan, Zateo, to run the country. What a different and beautiful world, in my opinion. Man, can you imagine? That is the good town line. The good town timeline. Howdy. Magoki, welcome. Hey, how's it going? Being the king of progressives is like being the most advanced Bucky Whip factory. All right, folks. The everyone needs their niche, I guess. So, as you probably know, the Trump administration has invoked the Aliens and Enemies Act. If I wonder, if I remember correctly, um, the Alien and Enemies Act of like 17 whatever, um, and they immediately used this declaration or invocation of this what normally would be an emergency power to deport hundreds of people um, with no due process whatsoever. Uh, so a couple of things, okay? Um, a couple of things that are disturbing about this story. Number one is that correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we're not at war with Venezuela. As far as I know, okay, and I could be wrong. You know, Congress may have declared war in the middle of the night, and I'm not aware of this. But apparently, we have not declared war on Venezuela, so this is already on pretty dubious territory. Number two, this is actually a perfect way to circumvent due process and just essentially disappear people that they want to disappear into uh, Bukele's concentration camps, essentially. Just to be clear, like this is how crazy this is. Okay, by the time that the judge told them that they couldn't do this, okay, the planes were already left in the air, and part of that order was saying, well, if they haven't left, they can't leave. If the planes have left, they need to turn back, and they didn't. Okay, as far as we know, like those people have been disappeared into El Salvador's like concentration camps. Okay, and in response to that, this Salvadorian leader Bukele has responded like, "Oh, too late!" Laughing, crying emoji, of course. And I mean, like, you can't expect anything less from the guy that literally put on his bio, "The world's coolest dictator." Okay, that's literally what he put on his Twitter bio quite a while ago. Um, and number one, the legality of this is already like very dubious. Number two, um, there's no due process. We don't know if these people that were disappeared. Um, we don't know if they were even Venezuelan citizens. Number one, because this was never hashed out in court, and much less we don't know if these people are uh, Trenderagua. So we have no way of knowing who they disappeared. MAGA does love outsourcing its labor to brown people. They disappeared a permanent resident for 24 hours for protesting. Nothing surprises me anymore. Yeah, that's true. We still don't know like what the outcome of that's going to be. Um, because like I don't know what's going to happen to that guy, to Muhammad Khalil. Did they even bother to land before deplaning the passengers? I don't know. I don't know where those people are. I don't know if they turned back the plane. I don't know if they landed in El Salvador and have now been disappeared. I don't know. Welcome back. Now, nothing good indeed. So here's the thing though, right? Like if if they can just deport people without due process on like some BS claims, right? On some BS justifications, right? Because like anyone could be Trenderaga, right? There's no due process. All they have to say is like, hey, that tattoo looks a little weird. Let's go. Hey, you look a little too brown. Let's go. Like what? I mean, there's no due process, so how are you going to hash it out? Hey, I'm a citizen. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because there's no due process. You'll be on that plane before you can even think about calling your lawyer. Yeah, I saw that, the letter hack. They publish videos like it's literally like fash propaganda, right? Of like the way like these guards were uh, uh handing these or treating these prisoners or whatever. Like again, I have no idea what's going on in there because uh there's no we don't know what's happening in those concentration camps, right? Like it's been reported several times that there's a lot of human rights violations happening in El Salvador, and like they're literally just like exporting people to throw in in those concentration camps. If Biden did this, the right would shout crisis actors. Yeah, I mean, dude, this is so just it's so beyond insane. Like, can you imagine, right? If the Biden administration said that that he was going to declare an emergency power to name like I don't know whatever just MAGA, which actually would make more sense. But like, just think about it in the inverse. Like, can you imagine if Biden got out in front of the cameras and said that like MAGA are domestic terrorists and therefore eligible for deportation under this like emergency power. These people would be like Second Amendment immediately, right? But actually, in that situation, Biden would make more sense. But you get my point. Manhandling, obviously, submissive prisoners. Yep. The Constitution is no longer in effect. Correct. ICE has already shown you can get deported just for your political views. Correct. Welcome, Kalia. Just effing deport me. I don't want to live here anymore. Well, I certainly don't want you to end up in like. I certainly don't want you ended up disappeared. In El Salvador somewhere. You know. Many of us would also be like, "What the heck, Biden?" Because it's not about who breaks the law or which team they played for. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, we'd be criticizing like the invocation of emergency war powers when it doesn't warrant it, right? Like that would be a huge breach of authority to invoke a emergency power like that. Um, all the rules are out the window since SCOTUS made Trump a god king. Yeah, I mean, like, will this be considered like official duties of the president? You know, just to get rid of whoever he doesn't like. How many U.S. citizens? Where would they deport me? Oh, El Salvador would gladly accept you, as stated. As stated by Bukele, he would accept American citizens too. I'm not even joking. This is so terrifying. Um, PB, welcome. The El Salvadorian president is the Trump guy. They have slave prisons, laborers. Yeah, they have concentration camps there. Yes, yes, this is exactly what we're talking about. Correct, 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 correct. These days, you just have to look wrong, and there's not a lot of due process to work out how you are. It doesn't seem right. Who you are. Yes, correct. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Like you can be a completely legal U.S. citizen, and it's not going to save you, right? It's been like this for a while. Jefferson is was the one that said let the courts enforce it regarding the Indian Removal Act. Obama droned the 16-year-old U.S. citizen. This is not new. Stay anonymous, my friends. Yep. My last resort would be to leave, but I'm not leaving without a fight. I'm not going to make it easy to do whatever they want. Yeah, I mean, like honestly, like civil resistance is going to be it essentially. Like civil resistance is going to be where it's at because like no one's coming to save us. No one's coming to stop this. Um, sorry, like no one's coming to stop this. You know, it's unfortunate, but you know what? You know what? Never mind about all this like fascism takeover. Chuck Schumer has a book to sell. Okay, have you considered that, chat? You know, have you considered that Chuck Schumer has a book to sell? Yeah, you can do a choose your fighter TikTok like the congressional Dems. Understandable heat. The amount of rage, anger, uh, contempt for Chuck Schumer right now is just like is off the chart. Popular Mechanics has a new article on how to dodge the sonic weapon the cops are using on protesters. Nice. And Schumer canceled all his book signings. Yeah, I think somebody the letter hack pointed it out. Yeah, much in the same way as Republicans not wanting to face their constituents. Chucky over here has decided to cancel his little book tour because he's being accosted by the constituents for obviously good freaking reason. Yeah, Vigi Chuck. People are being mad at the Dems on Facebook. You know, Facebook. Yeah, I mean, it's bad. It's bad. Like that thing completely backfired on Chuck Schumer. As I was saying, like even Nancy Pelosi, even Hakeem Jeffries, man, come on. Even Hakeem Jeffries made the right call. Also using microwave tech that makes it feel like your skin is on fire but leaves no physical damage. Jesus. Some consulting firm will buy up a bunch to give away at some conference they put on. Yep, no doubt about it. As it always happens, right? Bernie is old, but age doesn't diminish integrity. Yep. Trump is threatening to void all pardons. Biden cave out. Oh, actually, he actually asked, was that like, can they even do that? I don't know. I'm sorry. I missed that comment. I don't know. The law doesn't matter anymore. I don't know. Could he void the pardons? Yeah. I I don't know because it was they were signed by auto pen or whatever. I don't know. The law doesn't matter. What normally would happen under these circumstances is not applicable anymore. It's just drinking game rules anyways. True at this point. Oh god. It's true. It's true. Yeah, just more cry into the void. Well, that's what we're here for, honestly. That's what we're doing. It feels pretty helpless. It does. And that's on purpose. Um that's on purpose. Okay? They want you to feel helpless. They want you to feel defeated. They want you to feel like there's no point in fighting. Okay? They because that's how they win. That's how all this happens. Exactly. Now, what I would say is it's okay to feel helpless. It's okay to feel despair. It's okay to feel fear. It's okay to feel anger. But we need to accept and embrace those feelings and then channel that energy because we're going to need it. We're going to need it. We protect us, okay? Laws are like just like glasses, easy to break apparently. Yeah, well, I mean this whole thing, like if you really think about it, this entire system is just held up on like pinky promises, right? If you think about it, this whole entire like system, institutions, all of that's being held by like pinky promises and like trust me, bro, you know? And what happens when no when they don't want to play anymore by the rules? I think it doesn't matter, right? If I don't if Trump doesn't want to play by the rules, like this whole thing falls apart. If Trump, the Republicans, the judiciary, like if it just falls apart like that, because it's all based on like pinky promises. None of that's codified. None of that has like real enforcement mechanisms. And like when there are enforcement mechanisms, they ignore them. So there are no enforcement mechanisms. The them side when they said they had the president has little power. I mean, like just to be clear, like I don't know like if this is I guess it doesn't matter, but the point is they for some reason, okay, believe that the institutions are sacred. They believe that these institutions are sacred. They believe that like everyone's going to respect the rule of law. They believe that everyone, even if they're Republicans, are subject to the rule of law, and they're subject to the processes and procedures that govern the House and that govern the Senate. But that's not how this works. Um, that's not how this works. And they, oh well, the president can't do that because it's technically not legal under section. Who, who's going to stop him if the executive branch ever decides to, like, I don't know, deport 261 people despite judge's orders, right? And like the plane's gone, those people are gone. What do you do then? Does that make sense? A bunch of the people that I worked with today are a bunch of damn Republicans. It's a damn shame. Um, that they are brainwashed by Fox News and Trump's lies. Yeah, I mean, and they're not immune either. And they're not immune either. Like, that story that I was telling you about, like the person that is doing his graduate studies and was talking to the people that work in the front lines at the Park Service. Those people, some of them are Republican, and they never thought that it was going to be them on the streets. It didn't cross their minds that maybe this guy is not the best person to put in charge of a country. And now they lost their jobs, and now their behind is on the line. Why are they giving him more power than the president should have? Because there's no like checks and balances at this time, right? Like everything that's supposed to work isn't working because everything is based on like a trust me bro, pinky promise, I'm not going to abuse the system, right? Like, because all of this would in a normal circumstance, Trump would have been impeached and removed, right? Like in a normal rational world, Trump would have been impeached and removed immediately. And if Congress didn't want to do their job, he would have been 25th Amendment. Like there's literally like systems in place that are designed to stop this kind of stuff, right? Because as you said, the president doesn't have all encompassing power. But if nobody stops him, if Congress isn't doing their job, if Congress isn't asserting their authority as oversight, as a legislative oversight, then like for all, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is how, like, it's what I'm trying to explain. It's like this is all based on pinky promises. I think the idea was that people would elect a candidate with integrity, but people chose a horrible person. Yeah, I don't know where they got that from. Also, he takes the heat for them. He doesn't mind doing stuff against the rules and gives all these others in both parties cover. True. That Congress is complicit, right? That's exactly it. Congress is complicit because normally, under normal circumstances, those would be the mechanisms by which you would stop a rogue executive, but they're complicit. Right. That's why he cloaks it in nationalism because because he would be impeached if people thought it was treason. The enforcement mechanism is us, the people, but it's easy to say we want to do something. Well, I mean, like that's basically like the final like line, right? And Chuck needs to write another book, How I Destroyed the US with Donnie. Because people are brainwashed to believe confidence equals competence, so now we have a kakistocracy. Yeah, exactly. Yes. I mean, this is like this is a kleptocracy blended. This is why I'm saying that it's not your traditional 1920s fascism. but it still is like it's like the nationalism and the racism and that stuff is like classic, right? The classics. But like we have this kind of uh, weird element here where it's true. We have like a cacistocracy, oligarchy. Uh, I mean, like it's all blended into one. Um, it's, I mean, it's not even like a complete like one person is ruling everything. Not really. It's actually two people. I don't know what to do. Your community, your community, Kirkenstein. That's what you do. Your community. Find people, find like-minded people in your community. If that's not possible, like join local groups. Find perhaps your local group that's doing stuff. Um, get involved. Get involved with your local community. That's probably the best you can do. Find like-minded individuals. If not, then do what you can. If all you're able to do is just like spread the word, then so be it. All right. If all you can do is talk to one person, then so be it. If all you can do is talk to one family member, so be it. If all you can do is have a conversation with your friends, your closest friends, and say like, look, the situation's kind of tough. What are we going to do about it? Then like, so be it. You know, all you can do is what you can do. And Sparta had two kings. It'll work out fine for them. Yeah. Yeah, Sisyphean, exactly. It starts with small steps, moving out in your community, finding where you can help. Can you bake, serve food? Are you a writer? Yeah, like anything, any little thing. It doesn't matter if it's small or big or whatever. It's really just what you can do. I'm calling and writing to my congressman over and over. I'm also telling my friends, and I agree. Little by yeah. If all you can do is call and write to your congressperson, your senators, keep doing that. Encourage others to do that too. Capitalism full fail. Yep. The US is officially a plutocracy now, the top 10% accounting for up to 50% of the economic activity. We all have our talents, and that can be used in a diversity of tactics. Yep. I'm the crazy lib guy at work, and I'm not a liberal at all. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. This stuff is feeling very real, okay? Because um, I'm not just covering stories, right? Like, I'm not just covering the news, BRB leaving work. The fact that Elon has power over all these agencies is surprisingly not alarming to the right wing. Yeah, because that's what it's been about, right? I'm not just covering, these news and looking at it from a bird's eye view. This is here. This is home. Uh, it's directly impacting not just myself, not just my household, but my closest friends too. But I don't know if MAGA understands the consequences if this is the transition adjustment they are aiming for. I honestly like. I don't. I don't know if people in general uh, understand broadly speaking, the consequences of what's happening here. It's very clear that they don't understand by their reactions. You have the more agnostic people saying like, "Oh, well, he's just looking for, waste, fraud, and abuse." The famous the three-worded buzzwords, right? That keep getting pushed and pushed and pushed. It's like, oh, well, I don't understand why people are so upset at Elon Musk. He's just uh, looking for waste, fraud, and abuse. Like, why would anybody care about what this guy's doing? And of course, the other is the MAGA people who are cheering this on excitedly. It's very apparent that they do not understand the consequences. Because, well, when it affects them, all of a sudden, they're like, I can't believe this happened. How could Trump do this? Yeah, well, Elon is the waste, fraud, and abuse. Yep. And even if you didn't, even if you only like, even if you only voted because you thought that the price of eggs were going to be down, right? Like, number one, congratulations. Like, it didn't. So number one, like it didn't happen. Number two, um, something is deeply, deeply wrong when like you see the fascism develop and like the only thing is like, well, as long as the eggs are cheap, I guess we'll put up with the fascism so long as my eggs are priced, so long as my stuff is cheap, then like I guess we can do a little fascism, right? I guess, so what if 200 and something people get disappeared, never to be seen again, in a completely in a foreign country with no due process. I guess, whatever, as long as my eggs are cheap. Gas prices are still high but low internationally. It doesn't matter to them. You know what? Like, now that I think about it, like, yeah, egg prices are high, inflation is high, gas is high, but like they're cheering it on. They're like, "Yep, I guess we have to now now take high prices because that's the patriotic thing to do." And MAGA forgets in Oliver Twist time, um, that they were the factory and field workers. Almost everyone was. Yep. My sister and her friends moved in with me and bought chickens, so I have beaten eggflation. Nice. Awesome. Maybe one day we'll be able to establish some chickens, but we have to prepare the backyard for that. The hen started laying a week before inauguration. Wow, perfect timing. Dudes, I saw a Cybertruck yesterday. So ugly. I wasn't the only one pointing and laughing. I saw a couple on my way down here, and yeah, so freaking ugly. And Bob Carmody was going to raise some chickens in his apartment. He promised me. I see a Cybertruck every week. They're even worse looking on the road. Yep. Chickens are very cost effective. Honestly, like you can feed chickens like pretty much like anything. Like chickens will eat all your like, leftover greens. They love that. Like if you have any leftover greens, I don't know, leaves, they love that. Can we call the Cybertruck icebox vehicles now? Our chickens eat bugs. Nice. They have bugs. Yep. They eat almost anything. I always had LA as a backup, but now my sister, who does research, is awaiting losing her grants. Oh, that's actually like that's another thing that my friend was telling me about here in Florida. That like all this funding, all these grants, okay, are just like poof, gone. Uh, uh, in the blink of an eye, which is why I was saying that it's like as if science like stood still. My friends work in wildlife research, and every project is a grant. Yep, it's exactly what I'm talking about. Yep. They have NASA budget another. They've cut NASA budget another 50%. I'm sure that is pretty average. I come from very poor people on both sides of the family. I mean, like 6 kids in 2 bedrooms with uncles living there too, and outhouses. It's madness in R&D. I work with NWS and NOAA mainly. Jeez. I live in a big, big house in the country, don't mind, but good luck getting me out. Thing about all large bodies is that they take a certain amount of sustainment. If you pull out half the funding, they usually collapse unless there's a few individuals that hold it together. My hygienist told me her sister has to fire a park ranger that has lived in a place so remotely that the helicopter delivers supplies. He's required to move out with his family. They haven't even planned to help him move. They haven't even planned to help him with the helicopter. Jesus. He's lived there for 15 years. Yeah. I think another part, I think somebody from the YouTube side was saying, like, how can we, convey this message of how dire the situation is? Like, how can you tell people, like, snap out of it, you know? It's by making it real. It's by making it real. Telling stories like this, we're not talking about like just reading a news report. We're talking about like people here face to face telling their story. I'm telling you guys my story. You guys are telling me your stories. But I do see less signs coming out of the U.S. even over the next few years than last few years. Yeah, 100%. We want to build up our state apparatuses to continue research how Cuba made their own COVID vaccine under embargo. We couldn't even get people to wear masks when they were dropping dead. Yeah, but this is the end game, folks. This is it. This is it. This is all we've got. I'm late and looks like I missed a whole lot. Hope all is well. No problem. I'm just glad that you managed to stop by. Well, it's very windy outside. So just to give you a brief recap, I'm just me before we head out. New horrors have developed, of course. We talked about Schumer's capitulation. We talked about that I was informed, because Mrs. Truth works in the industry, that the Coast Guard is no longer enforcing the Oil and Pollution Act of 1990. We talked about the Trump administration defying federal judges, not just deporting people who were already approved and allowed to be here, but just invoking the Alien Enemies Act, which is supposed to be a wartime special emergency powers to expedite deportation of 261 people. Who knows at this point? There's, 2 or 3 planes? At this point, we have no idea if those people should have been deported. We have no idea if they were Venezuelan people at all. We have no idea if they were actually any gang members in those 261. No due process, so we don't know. So yeah, that's just basically the recap. Stuff's been going great. The research in the Everglades is basically on fire. So yeah, you know. I hope your travels are going well, ADT. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm here. A couple of folks jumped in with their personal stories. So yeah, before we get out of here, folks, I'd say because of the speed, most of them probably shouldn't have been just most of them probably shouldn't have just been on due process grounds. Yeah, 100%. Like they just basically like declared, the invocation of that law, and just did it, and just like yeeted those people out because like all we declared the immigrant martial law, so like whatever, it doesn't matter who was in there. Were they criminals? Doesn't matter. Were they even Venezuelan people? Doesn't matter. Were they actually even gang members? Doesn't matter. Were they actually Tren gang members? Doesn't matter. How do you keep production up when unemployment shoots to the moon, deport the work colony, and then use the good old 13th Amendment domestically? So, yeah, like we'll get the. I mean, man, this is so unsettling. So unsettling. It's not surprising. It's just shocking. Does that make sense? It's not surprising. It's just shocking. That makes perfect sense. Sadly, I think one half of the reason they're hardening the Canadian border is so that people can't go north to stop Canadians. Uh, I mean, what is it? I think it was oh man, Bo the fifth column. Walls aren't just to keep people out; they're to keep people in too. It kind of works both ways. Not surprised, just sickened. Yep. They're preventing people from leaving the U.S. as much as entering. Sorry, YouTube didn't want me to say it in one sentence. Yeah. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. It's time for me to get some food. I appreciate you guys being here. I know this is not the usual. I feel like Trump still had power the 4 years between his term. I mean, whew. The restriction of movement is a hallmark of fascism. Yep, true. Thank you all for being here. I know this is not the usual setup. The next couple of, this week is going to be difficult. um, Roe v. Wade was overturned under Biden. Yeah, but like all of that was set up by Mitch McConnell, right? Like it happened under Biden because liberals are just not equipped to deal with fascism, right? Like they don't have the tools to deal with fascism. They're just like, well, like legally the process and like the institutions and we have to present. Like no, it happened under Biden because liberals are not equipped to handle fascism. But yeah, the groundwork, the foundation was poured by Mitch McConnell and the Republicans. It's just that liberals can't. They just they have no like they have no answer to fascism because at the end of the day, they uphold capital. So I think that's like probably the link here. So even though like they may not agree with certain social aspects. Like at the end of the day, like you got Jeffries like begging Silicon Valley for money. Does that make sense? Always a cool stream to come across. Thank you so much. It was that Biden didn't even try to stop it, right? Like because again, that's exactly it. Thank you, ADT. No problem. That's exactly it. Dan and honestly, like, oh well, the Supreme Court did their thing, and like, sorry, it's just the way it is. You know, that's the institution. We have to preserve the institution. We have to preserve, like, yeah, it's all pretty not great, not great. Thank you for streaming on vacay, no problem, and thank you for the raid, B raid. Thank you for getting all these people over here. I should say they're pretty much the ones that paved the way for fascism. Liberals. Philix has a good song on it. Love me a liberal. Biden didn't even say the word abortion. Yep. Yep. Thank you for streaming. No problem. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you guys. Thank you to the YouTube crew. And Trump just removed Hunter's Secret Service. Jeez. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the unofficial serfs raid. Hey, Walter, how's it going? See you all next time. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you to the serfs for the unofficial raid on the YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Michael Hassler and Heat for modding the chat. Appreciate it. On the Twitch side, thank you. Hold on, let me go back because I'm never going to pronounce this correctly. Come back up here. How come it doesn't show me? Can we get a shout out for the person that raided us? RTPT. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Thank you, Walter, for hanging out in chat as well. Thank you for all the new follows, by the way. We got a handful of new follows here on Twitch. So first and foremost, welcome. Thank you for all the new follows. I appreciate that. Thank you, RTP Talks. Yes, thank you. Trump is also saying he'll overturn Biden's. He's such a devastating joke. Yep. Super close. We'll be back, I suspect. Thank you, Winnie Rose. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Keep liking the stream, folks. If you're on the YouTube, keep liking, keep subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you all, and thank you for the support. Thank you for the new follows on Twitch. You guys have been phenomenal. Appreciate the serfs for the unofficial raid. Autumn Leaves, thank you for hanging out. The Letter Hack, thank you for hanging out. Go check them out on their YouTube channel, The Letter Hack. I appreciate you guys being here once again. Thank you, Heat. Thank you, Michael Hasser, for modding the chat. We'll be back. I think we'll be able to pull off a small stream. It won't be as long as this one, but we might be able to pull off a small stream tomorrow. The rest of the streams are pretty much probably not going to happen. We'll see. Join the Discord, folks, if you want to keep up with the channel. And if you want to support the channel, keep doing what you're doing. Spread the word. We're here usually Monday through Thursday around 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back to the normal schedule next week. Join the Discord, as I said. Subscribe to the Substack. Check out the merch store and !tip if you want to support the channel directly. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys. Let's see. Probably go over here. We'll get the raid ready. All right. Thanks for calling out the Good Guy Streamers, also Galactic News Network. Oh, yeah. Appreciate it. Enjoy your travels. Thank you. Appreciate everyone as always. Please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I'll be on. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Galactic News Network is the Lord of late night streamers. I've seen them before. They've come up on my feed. You know, the almighty algorithm. Hang tight, folks. We're about 1 minute, 40 seconds. Sorry about that. 30 more seconds, folks, and then we're out of here. Stay woke, say gay, and peace on. Letterhack is live at 9 p.m. Eastern with Andy Ellis. Climate change matters. It does. We're in there hanging out at ET. Say hi sometime. Yeah, absolutely. I'll stop by tonight. All right, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye bye. I dabbed myself out.